Welcome back to So Thanksgiving's coming up, and that's a problem for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, it's really just not a great holiday. I think it might be tied with Columbus Day for the most problematic holiday. So the story, as I heard it growing up, was Thanksgiving is the celebration of the time the colonists and the indigenous people sat down and made peace over dinner. And that, of course, is not what happened at all. I think the low estimates are like 95% of the indigenous people were wiped out in this time. So having a holiday to celebrate that is a little odd to me. And I think to most indigenous people, it's kind of like if somebody were to wipe out all of your friends and family and take all of your stuff and ruin your way of life. And then to protect your own life, you complied with whatever they wanted you to do, obviously. And then each year after that, they get together with their friends and family to celebrate the time that you two got along. Seems beyond crazy, right? It's more than understandable for you to be upset in that situation, right? And we currently have indigenous people in that situation. Just something to think about while you're eating turkey this year. Now, you could make an argument that the meaning has kind of shifted to just general thanks and like family and good times. And that's fine. That's all fine and dandy. I have no problem with that. The issue arises though, no matter how far removed you are from the original meaning, the holiday itself is still rooted in hate. So personally, I'm good. I think I'll pass on Thanksgiving. Now, the other reason that Thanksgiving is a bit of an issue, it's one of the biggest days of the year for food waste. I think in general, people misunderstand the problem with food waste because, yeah, when you first think about it, it's organic matter, it decomposes, it's not like man-made and gonna sit there for hundreds of years, but that's exactly the problem. When organic waste decomposes, it releases methane, and I'm sure you've heard about methane. It's a bit of a problem. Much like carbon, it's a greenhouse gas, but unlike carbon, it's like exponentially more effective. It warms the earth much faster, it traps way more heat in the atmosphere. Not ideal. The slight bright side though is it does have a shorter lifespan than carbon, so it won't stick around for as long. One of the ideas that scientists have thrown out there is if we can curb methane emissions, we'll have more time to deal with the carbon issues later, which is good. More time is good because as of now we don't really have a super effective way to deal with the carbon, so the more time the better. So what do you do about food waste? Obviously the easiest thing, try to only buy what you need, what you're gonna eat your leftovers, but sometimes it's unavoidable, right? So what do you do when you have those food scraps? If you can, compost either at your own place, or most towns have like public composting places. I don't know, look into it. But that will turn those scraps into something that's useful for growing plants. So that's good. So besides food waste and other organic garbage, one of the main contributors to methane emissions is the meat industry. And this time, it's actually not factory farms, it's not fossil fuels, it's coming from the cows themselves. See, because living things eat, and when they eat, they produce waste, and some of that waste comes out as air, and that air in this case is methane. That's right, cow farts are killing the earth. Not just them, but definitely not helping. Because we eat so much meat and drink so much milk and eat so much cheese and yogurt, we need a lot of cows. There's a lot of cows, and all those cows are producing a lot of methane, an ungodly amount of methane. So one cow produces somewhere around 220 pounds of methane over the course of a year. So if you multiply that by the amount of cows on Earth, which is like 1.5 billion, that's a lot of methane. And keep in mind, methane is like 28 times as strong as carbon. So not to be that guy, but eat less meat. It's that simple. Specifically red meat and dairy. So the latest estimates show that the average person contributes to about 2.5 times more methane than a vegan. Now that doesn't mean that the average person is just shitting and farting more. It's just that had they not supported those industries, they would not have been responsible for those additional emissions. Now I do think it's unfair to expect people to just reduce their intake to zero, but I mean, come on, just swap out your regular burger for a turkey burger every now and then, or a chicken sandwich. Do meatless Mondays. I know some people are doing that. Just do what you can, right? If everybody were to just do what they can, the difference would be insane. Alright, that's all I'm gonna say about that. So I was reading about a company in Australia. Their whole shtick was picking up single-use plastic bags, that kind of stuff, and recycling them. They've been doing this for a while. It was going pretty smooth. There was like drop-off points within inside stores. Good concept, right? It makes sense. But it turns out they've just been shoving them in a warehouse. They just have piles and piles of plastic bags and garbage. I know it's not great to be lying to the public and all that, but God, that's so funny. Imagine that's your job. Imagine you interview for some company that you think is like a new age recycling startup, and then you show up first day on the job, all excited. They unlock the front door, open it up, and it's just a mountain of garbage. And then continuing to work there. That's so funny to me. So this is the garbage mound? This is the garbage mountain? I see what you're saying. We do need to make it bigger. I'll get on that right away. And also, how embarrassing when that story came out and everybody knows that you've just been hoarding garbage for the past couple of years. Couldn't be me. That's actually the most embarrassing thing that I can imagine. I literally can't think of a dumber plan than that. That's a Dr. Doofenshmirtz ass plan. That's a plankton ass plan for real. What if we gather all the garbage in town and put it inside and charge people money for it? Anyways, good on them for getting that coin, I guess. It's just like I've been saying, almost always recycling is a scam. Sorry, it's upsetting, I know, it is what it is. And I almost forgot the climate summit. So right now in, I believe, Egypt, there's a international climate summit going on called COP27 or COP27, I don't know. Basically, the UN and a bunch of countries are getting together to talk about climate solutions. So they just released the first draft of their proposal, and kind of sucks. It kind of doesn't do anything that we need them to. So again, they set the temperature cap to 1.5 degrees Celsius increase. They're going to try and limit the temperature increase to less than 1.5 degrees Celsius, which, okay, good. And there's some efforts to get away from coal as like a fuel source. But you know what there's not? There are no efforts at all to move away from fossil fuels, which is like one of the biggest problems that we're having. So why is that not like the main thing? Why is that not in bold on the first page? Something's not adding up here. Seems like Big Oil's got some friends at the conference. I could be wrong. I don't know. This is just the first draft. We'll have to see what happens when it actually comes out. But it's a little concerning. It's kind of like we're in a boat that's sinking and they're fixing everything but the biggest hole, you know? Like, sure, scrape the barnacles off, wax the floor, swab the poop deck. But should we not address this? Should we not address that the boat's sinking currently? Are you going to do anything about that hole? So keep an eye on that. I'm not exactly sure when it's scheduled to be like wrapping up, but hopefully soon. We'll see what happens. Well, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you. I'll be back next Friday. Really hope to see you then. All right. Bye.